Hi friend, do you know Jesus in a real way? When you come to Jesus and become his girl through realizing your sin and your need for a savior, trusting in Jesus' death on the cross for your sin, believing in him and following him as his girl, you become his girl, and that is the beginning of a personal relationship with Jesus, where you can go deeper into knowing him and having a relationship with him and discovering for yourself how wonderful he is. Like Psalm 107:9 says, he satisfies the longing soul. And it is so true. He will do that for you. He has done that for me. And it is the most incredible thing in the world. Jesus, the Savior of the universe, wants to have a relationship with you. Isn't that incredible? And the more we press into that relationship, the more we will discover the satisfaction and joy that our hearts were created for. Knowing Jesus in a real way has changed my life, and it will change yours too. When I was a girl, I knew about Jesus. I had trusted Jesus to save me from my sins, and I loved him because he had died for me, and I grew up knowing truths about him. But as I got older, it felt like there was something missing, and he opened my eyes to realize that I was made for a personal relationship, not just where I hear about him at church or even read about him in my Bible, but where I personally walked with him, like I walk with him as like I walk with a friend, in that he is that real and more. And as I began to seek him in his word, spend time with him in prayer, and really seek to know him, he became real to me, and it changed my life. I experienced for myself the reality of Psalm 107:9, that he satisfies the longing soul. And I couldn't help but love Jesus and just want to know him more and follow him more, and for others to know about him too. It's when you personally experience Jesus for yourself, he will change your life. I promise. Do you love ice cream? I imagine you do, but how do you know that you love ice cream? You love it because you have tasted it, right? And Psalm 34:5 says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And the Lord is calling us to taste for ourselves, just like we have tasted the goodness of ice cream, to taste for ourselves that he's good. And not just to hear about, just imagine you could hear about how ice cream is good. You could see commercials about it, you could research it, you could go to an ice cream factory, you could talk to friends about it, all the things. But unless you've tasted it, you have not personally experienced the wonder of ice cream, right? And the same with Jesus. The more you personally experience him, the more you're just can't help but love him. You're going to be satisfied in him as you know him more and more. You will I just encourage you so much to press into Jesus and say, Jesus, I want to know you as far more than just someone that I hear about, the God and the Savior that I hear about, or read about in my Bible. And that's where you're going to discover who he is and how to seek him. But help me to know your heart, Jesus. Help me to walk with you in a personal way. You'll just discover more and more that he's loving, that he's faithful, that he's forgiving and kind and patient and satisfying, and so many more things. We could talk for hours about how wonderful Jesus is. I encourage you to seek to know him yourself, and we'll again talk about more in other videos to come, but ways you can get to know him are most of all by reading his word. That is his word to you, where you can come to know him and what he has said and what his heart is like, and so many things. Delve into his word, to spend time with him in prayer, to walk with him through the day knowing he is right there with you, to be with people who love him, and a church where you learn more about him, and so many more things. But as you do, you'll just discover more and more how wonderful he is and just want to know him more. And I just encourage you to ask him to help you know him more. That's what he created you for. That's what he's calling you to. That personal relationship with him, and joy in him. And so don't let anything stop you from it. We can easily buy into the lie that other things will make us happy and fill that ache in our heart that only Jesus can fill. We were made for him, and trying to find our deepest fulfillment, that true fulfillment that only Jesus can give, trying to find it in other things that are coming before him in our lives, whether it's friends or other relationships, whether it's in popularity or food or movies or social media or appearance or just anything else. We just will always come up empty. Those things might sparkle for a while, but it's really like going to try to eat the ice cream and instead eating the wrapper. Those things can be gifts in our lives, but they're never meant to they can never fulfill us like Jesus. And so don't let other things hold you back from knowing Jesus as your greatest treasure, and just keep him as your first priority, pressing into him. And the more you know him, the more you will just realize that nothing compares to Jesus. And so I just want to encourage you, don't settle for less than Jesus. Press into him, press into knowing him. And as you do, you will for yourself taste and see that he is good. You will discover that Jesus does satisfy the longing soul, and you'll just want to know him more and more and more. So tell Jesus that, desire friend. He hears you. He is waiting with open arms for you to press into him, to know him, and to walk heart in heart with him for the rest of your life. And I promise you, is the most wonderful thing as his girl to walk in a personal relationship with Jesus. We'll see you in the next video.